here. First of all, I'd like to just get everyone just to try out the chat function. It's at the bottom of the Zoom screen. And if you can just quickly type in your name and what business you're involved with, and then I can get a little bit of a feel for who's there and what you're doing, and that'll probably help with the direction that I take and what I'm sharing today. So if you can just jump into the chat section and type in something there, so I know who you are. Hi Lisa from the Eastern Bay COVID Business Support Hub. Jared, sales rep for Marta Beer. Tammy from Marta Brewery. Rachel from Legacy Light. Breckman Consulting, David, Bride and Paula. Scott, Golf 360, Mount Maunganui. Catherine from Robert Harris. Steve, the draftsman. Jason from Legacy, the greatest accounting firm ever. Thanks, Jason. All right, just while the last of the people are sort of typing in their bits, if you are, just a little bit about myself. I've been involved in the field of online marketing and particularly SEO for about 15 years now. The first 5 years, Midge and I, Midge you'll see in the background here, the first 5 years we dived into the whole crazy world of the Wild West of affiliate marketing. And that meant we basically hacked search engines so that we could get our content to the top of the search results so that we could sell products and make a commission on them. Back then you could do some stuff that was pretty interesting with Google, and you could end up with targeting a particular phrase and ending up owning the whole front page of results for that by using different formats. So we used a lot of work with video and with content and with various other organic methods of content delivery so that we could do that and we could make the sales. Basically, the idea was that if they couldn't find anyone else, then we would make the sale. So things have changed a lot since then. We set up high-profile enterprises about 10 years ago, and we crossed to the legitimate side of the tracks. And since then, we've been working with a number of brands in New Zealand and Australia to help them to achieve better online results. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take you through a little bit of an introduction to what SEO is about, and get it out of the way. What SEO is all about and how it can help you. And I'm going to approach it in two sections really. One is for people who don't have a website, and there are some basic things you can do to improve your performance even if you don't have a website. And then the second part is for people who do have a website but need a little bit of help in understanding how to achieve more from that asset. Okay, so obviously the current situation has meant that a lot of people are having to rethink what they're doing with their business due to the COVID-19 lockdowns and the current climate. This is going to be around for some time, and so for us as an agency, we're busier than we've ever been, and we're very, very grateful that we're able to help people during this time. Most of our clients have decided, like you have, that they're going to be proactive and they're going to get out there and they're going to do the best they can. They're going to continue to communicate with their clients and customers, and they're going to build equity and presence and visibility so that when they come out the other side, when you come out the other side of this, that you'll be front of mind and you'll have also demonstrated those levels of trust and and all of those other beneficial things that mean that people will want to work with you and will want to buy from you when you come to out the other side of this. Excuse me, I have a drink. Okay, so the biggest thing here is that there's a need to adapt to a new environment. 75% of people are currently using social media every day. Only 4% of those people apparently don't want to see any sponsored product, so they're quite comfortable with brands advertising to them. But the biggest one is that 53% of people are using Google organic search to access websites. And from what I'm seeing in my own data for clients, that's actually even higher than those official figures. So SEO obviously is a point where we can actually drive that organic traffic. And in order to do that, there are a few fairly distinct things we have to understand and to take account of. So I'll go straight into a bit of luck. No, I won't. Excuse me for a second. Sorry, it's just become disconnected from the main screen. There we go. All right, so first of all, let's look at what SEO is, and I guess the important first step is to understand what SEO isn't. There are a lot of misconceptions out there about SEO. I guess probably because everyone gets emails from dubious companies from around the world offering top places on Google, or offering guest posting services and high domain authority websites and so on, which I'm sure everyone gets those in their inboxes. So SEO isn't a magic trick box. It's not a series of hacks as it used to be, more than 10 years ago. It's not a way of tricking search engines so that you can get into positions that you don't deserve. That's what it isn't. Okay? And a lot of people think it's some sort of dark art, which it definitely is not. What it is, it's a combination of creative, technical, and a good dollop of psychology. What it is a holistic form of marketing that takes into account everything that you do. And by everything that I do, I mean both online and offline. So let's, as an example of this, your online might be, what you're doing on social media. It might be your website. It might be how you're interacting with people online. Offline could well be community events that you're sponsoring, or it could be things that you're doing out there in the world that are going to be reported on by the news media, and generally just other material that doesn't have an online interface. The way that works is that with the offline stuff, if say you're reported, about because of something you're doing in the Beacon or the Herald or TVNZ or something like that, that generates a fair amount of interest, and Google is a pretty smart machine that will take into account all of those connections that you're making as you're out there in the world. So it's a holistic marketing strategy because it looks at, these algorithms are incredibly complex and they take into account social signals. So everything your business does on social media is taken into account. It takes into signals from media. If they're talking about your brand, they don't even have to link to your website for Google to pick up that your brand is being talked about. So any news media coverage is going to have an effect. If you are promoting content or you're publishing content on your own website, every one of those is crawled by the search engines and is taken into account. Every connection you have, whether it's through business networks, whether it's through personal networks, every one of those has a digital footprint, and every one of those becomes the holistic picture that search engines look at when they're deciding who to put at the top of their search results. And this is where SEO becomes something that when you understand how it works, it becomes something that you can gradually build over time by looking at all of these different touch points and finding out where you can increase your advantage. And that might sound all very daunting, but you only really have to start with single steps, small steps. And that's why I'd like to start with people who've got small businesses that don't have a web presence through a website. You might have a Facebook page, you might have a physical shop or a place of work, and that's what you have at the moment. You don't have a website as such, or your own domain name, and you're not creating your own content apart from your posts on social media. Okay, so let's move on to this. The first thing that it's worth doing as a foundational strategy for businesses that perhaps don't have a website is to understand what your customers are looking for. So if you're looking at, I'll find an example here. Let's say you're in a trade and you're based in Whakatane and you are wanting to understand how to improve your visibility on search engines. The best thing you can do is to use the search engines, and you need to understand what your customers are looking for. So you put yourself in your customers' shoes and you think about what could they potentially be looking for if they want to find what I'm selling, my service or my products. So let's say, as I say, if you're a trade, if you're a plumber, for instance, and you go into the local search results, and remember that your location is a big part of what search results will be delivered. So someone in Auckland will get a different series of search results than someone who's in Whakatane. So let's say you type it in the Whakatane and you type in, say, plumbers Whakatane, because you're looking for a plumber for a particular job as a customer. Okay, so you look at that as a plumbing business and you go, okay, what are the top 2-3 results here? And you'll probably find that the top ones will be a directory of some sort. It might be whakatane.info, or it might be Finder or Neighbourly, or one of those local directory services. And you have a look and you see what sort of result they have. And also it's worthwhile clicking on the result and seeing how easy it is to find plumbers who are local, because you find some of them, like Yellow Pages, for instance, you'll go to and you'll be presented with plumbers who are not even in the local area because their website's pretty hopeless. So you look at those and you go, okay, where's the opportunity there? I don't have a website, but how can I use the assets that are already published out there to get more visibility from my website? And that's something that Midge and I find is surprising a lot of the time, because we'll be looking for a tradesperson for a job and we know the person's name and we can't find them anywhere. So the first thing you can do is you can find those top search results for whatever niche you're in, and you can go, how can I get my business found in the top search results? The first place is through those directories. Okay, let's say you're in a business that doesn't sell to local people and that you are competing with the whole country. Now that gets a little bit trickier. Let's say you have a product that you put into search that you want to sell across the country, and it's a product that's fairly generally available internationally. If you type in that product into Google search, you'll probably find that you'll be presented a whole lot of results by large international sites. And in that case, you're going to struggle to compete in that particular niche. So you have to refocus on either region specific or on a tighter definition of what you do. If you're being too general about your type of product, and let's say if you're working at Marta Beer, for instance, and you want to show up well for a particular style of beer, say an IPA or something like that. Obviously, if you type in IPA, you're probably going to get different definitions from Wikipedia. You're going to get lots of massive international media sites, and very little opportunity for you to be able to get into those top search results even over time. So you have to dig down a little bit deeper and vary those search phrases you're looking at, and find ones that are more specific to your product and more specific to what your customers are looking for. And if they're looking for, you know, a boutique craft beer brand, then you'd be better looking down that sort of area than you would be a more generalist sort of phrase. And you can apply that to any sort of business. If there's not much competition in your particular niche, and you type in what you do and the area that you're in, and you see that there aren't any big brands that are dominating, then that's a really good opportunity to get in there without a website and with very little effort. And that's a starting point. And I'll talk a little bit more once we go into the value of websites just in a few minutes' time. So as I go through this, please write down any questions, because we're going to have a Q&A session at about the halfway point here. And so at that stage I'll be able to answer much more specific questions for each of you. So understand what your customers are looking for. And the whole idea of SEO is to anticipate what your customers want, and then to be able to supply solutions or answers for them, or to be able to make sure that you're the answer for what they're looking for. And that's what you always have to keep in mind. Search engines are all about delivering the right answers, and they're getting very, very good, and particularly Google, at doing that for most areas. So that's where you have to keep your thoughts. Second big opportunity for local businesses without a website is Google My Business. Now, Google My Business it's owned by Google, so it's given high visibility in search engine results. It allows businesses to basically have a website without a website. You can have everything from your opening hours through to weekly specials, to events that you might be running. You can have images, videos, your logo, your physical street address, street view image, all sorts of stuff in there, and of course reviews, which are very important. So Google My Business is really easy to set up. You just have to type in Google My Business if you don't already have this set up, and every business should have it. You go in and you follow the fairly simple steps. If you don't have a Google account, they're very easy to set up as well. Google wants as many people as possible using their products, and it also opens the door to using their other products as well. So for people who have websites, to have analytics, to have Search Console, and for your home to be able to use things like Google Home for your watching of Netflix, or using Spotify, or any of those things as well. So there are a lot of reasons why you should have a Google account, even if you don't use Gmail as your mail service. So use Google My Business and go in and fill out as many of the sections as you can. They'll ask you what your services are. They'll ask you to upload logos. They'll ask you to upload photographs that are relevant to your business, preferably things of your team and of your office or your space that you use. And then the critical part of this is there's a section there that says reviews, and if you click on that section to bring up the review, there's a URL at the top of the page that you can send to your customers and your clients, your happy ones hopefully. And when you send that to them and ask them for a review, the more good reviews you get, the better you're going to show up in search results. Okay, so I'll show you what that looks like. The knowledge panel is something that Google has, which is on the right hand side of search results. Normally that shows up for a branded search, and that looks a little bit like this one on the right hand side here. So you can see the sea photos, the sea outside, and there's a map of where we are. It's a really strong visual result. It has a button to send people to the website, and Google sends you results of how many people are using this result every month. So it's good information, good analytics information as well. While we're looking at this branded result, this is an example of a branded result for a company that's got a fairly evolved web presence. Obviously up here we've got our website result, and then there's a LinkedIn company page, a Facebook company page, a listing with Neighbourly, and then for the next 2 or 3 pages there's a whole lot of other high profile enterprises connections through our work over the last 10 years. So, you know, type in your name into search and have a look at your branded results. You may not see something quite as evolved as this, but it'll give you a little bit of an idea of where you need to do the work. And so, you know, you can set up a company page on those key social media channels, on LinkedIn and on Facebook, on Twitter as well. They show up. You know, you look toward getting a website developed if you don't have one already. If you do have a website and you're not getting a result that has this plus site links, then you need to do some more work on your content on the site, and I'll talk about that in a minute as well. Okay, so those are 2 key things for people without websites to look at. The first one is to look at the search results for your niche and see what has been what is showing up there. And the second is to utilize Google My Business. Now that will give you, for people who are looking for what you do, a good way of finding you. Obviously, it's going to be a lot stronger if you have your own website, and so that's sort of to take it to the next level. There's a few tips for the people who have websites, which I'll share now. We do a lot of audits, and the audits invariably find a number of issues with websites in both the technical and the strategic areas. Basically, you know, people only know what they know, and there's a lot to cover across all of those areas to do well in organic search. It's a good idea to make a note of some of the technical requirements and have a conversation with your developer to make sure that they're across these things as well. It's quite a technical thing, the audit that we do. It's usually about 25 odd pages and about 5,000 words of analysis. So it shows that there are multiple sections that we look at in both the strategic and the technical side. But just getting a few of the really simple things right it will get you a really good start. And there's something on this page that I just want to show you that you can look at with your website almost immediately. And that is your home page, what you call metadata. And that is your title and your description for your home page of your website. Now for ours, because I've done a branded search, it's come up just as high profile enterprises as the title, because that makes sense. Someone's looking for us by typing in our name, and that's a way of saying you've found this particular brand. Underneath it is what's called the meta description, and here you have up to 160 characters that you can use to sell what you do. Okay, so for us, it's looking for business growth solutions, but tired of the big promises and lack of results from digital and SEO agencies. It might be time to talk to us. So put a lot of thought into this, because this is a short piece of copywriting that will connect you with your potential market. You've got to think about, again, what are the challenges that your customers or clients might face, and what are they looking for? And you tell them, I've got the answer for you, and you need to contact us here to get more. Now our actual homepage title that we use on high profile enterprises is not just the brand name. We have up to 60 characters to tell people what we do. So our homepage title is Bay of Plenty SEO content marketing and social media, because that's what we do for businesses. That also helps us to get found for those phrases if people are looking for Bay of Plenty content marketing, or Bay of Plenty SEO, or Bay of Plenty social media management, or any of those variations on phrases. We have more chance of showing up, because the homepage title is incredibly powerful. So you need to use those 60 characters to tell people what you do. in a way that, in a natural sentence, that they can look at it and go, okay, these are the guys, when they see it come up in search results, these are the guys I want to talk to first. All right. And there's something I probably should mention very quickly as well, is when you're in case you're unaware of it, when you're looking at search results, in this case they aren't there because no one's advertising on our name, but the top 2 to 4 results will have ad next to them, and those are Google AdWords ads, and they are ones that people bid in like an auction to get those top spots above the organic results. Now there's a difference in performance between those. People who are older tend to click on AdWords results a lot of times, and people tend to spend less time on websites once they arrive there, so the conversion rate is lower. Organic results, which are the ones below the ads, tend to have the highest performance. They are also, through investing your time and energy and potentially working with someone, when you show up well in organic results, that can happen for years. Whereas an ad, as soon as you stop paying Google money, it drops off, you're gone. So there's quite a marked difference between those 2 ways of marketing. At the moment, paid search has dropped off significantly due to the COVID virus. A lot of companies have just shut it down because they're unsure of how they can deal with that sort of traffic now when they're not actually functioning. Whereas organic search, you can be working on right now, and you can be reaping the benefits in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, particularly if you keep on working at this stuff. Okay. So a few of the, I'll quickly run through some of the technical performance things that people will be looking for and what Google would be looking for websites. Where one of the key things that Google has shifted to in the last little while is a shift to mobile. They have been driving this for some time, and they went to a mobile first index probably 1.5 years ago now. What this means is the mobile version of your website is the most important one. That's what you're rated on. So if you've got a mobile version of your website that people can't read because the text is too small, that is, you have to scroll backward and forward to see what's on the page. That is horrifically slow loading. Then you're going to get marked down. You're going to have trouble showing up anywhere in Google's websites. Okay. In the audits that we do, we come across websites that are scoring incredibly low speed scores on Google's own tools, and that means that as soon as you can fix that speed issue, you'll likely see a big improvement in your visibility in search results. Okay, a tool to have a look at and to put your website through it's pretty punishing, but it's called Page Speed Insights. Google developers Page Speed Insights. Put your homepage URL into that and have a look at both the mobile and desktop speed, and hopefully you'll be pleasantly surprised and see something over 70, but in a lot of cases you'll probably find it's more likely to be 10 or 20. Okay, that is something you can talk to your developer about and ask them whether they have the ability or the capacity to be able to improve what you're getting. If you're on a platform that is hosted and by the platform itself, like Squarespace or Wix or Weebly or any of those, unfortunately there's very little you can do about speed with those platforms. If you're on an open source platform like WordPress or like Drupal or Joomla, then your developer should be able to help you with improving page speed. Okay, so mobile optimization, when you go to use your website on your mobile device, let's say it loads fast and you can read everything clearly, then think about user experience. What are people expecting to find when they arrive at your website, and are they able to do that? Are they able to contact you easily? Do you want them to call you? Is there a phone icon right at the top of your mobile result that allows them to call you immediately? There go the dogs. Just generally, again, put yourself in your customer's shoes, and obviously these guys go running past. put yourself in your customer's shoes and think about what they're looking for. And that goes for both mobile and desktop versions of your site. Okay, so user experience, again, is a big part of performance. Look at, again, you've got to look at your website from the customer's viewpoint. When you arrive at the home page, is it really clear where you are immediately? Does your initial load of your homepage answer the most common questions that these people have? So first of all, am I in the right place? You know, is this the website I was looking for? Does this answer the question that I just put into search and I've arrived from, you know, a search result? And so you've got to align those things really clearly to what people are looking for. And if that means that you've got to move things around on your homepage because the wrong thing is at the top, then, you know, again, talk to your developer and make sure that gets done. So again, for every niche, you'll have to think differently about what you want to present. If you're in the food niche, for instance, you want to immediately show, you know, great images of, you know, amazing looking food, and who you are as a brand. So you need, yeah, think about what people are looking for. That's a key thing. Okay. Website content. This is another big one for you. Jason has just started a whole lot of content from the COVID business page that'll be on the website, so people can actually find it in one place without having to scroll through Facebook through a Facebook page to find the different parts of it. So again, with website content, you need to anticipate your customers or clients' needs and supply them what they're looking for. And you need to be helpful with this stuff as well. There are a lot of people who feel uncomfortable with oversharing what they do on through website content or even through social media. But with website content, the more you can share about what you do, the more trust you build with people. And there's an acronym that's been used a lot in SEO circles, and it's the word EAT, which is expertise, authority, and trust. So those are three things that not only search engines but people are looking for. If they come to your website and it looks like you are a bit dubious, or that you are not potentially trustworthy, or that even it's technically inferior and it's not working properly, then that's going to break that trust with your potential customers and clients. Expertise is sharing the content that you can show that you know what you're talking about, and potentially being able to collaborate with other people who can actually give you that additional expertise within your website content. So let's if there's an expert in your particular niche and you interview them for a blog post, for instance, then that's great, kudos for you, and it's really good for search engines as well. Authority is something you build over time by being talked about a lot on the web, and by having a commitment to sharing content on a regular basis and being consistent with what you do. Again, authority is driven by authoritative sites referencing you. So any of that you can get either through media or through other means, perhaps suppliers of products, or any other way. If they can be talking about you on their websites, and that's really helpful. And trust is a big one. Through reviews, testimonials, through any other means that people say that here is a business that we really value and trust, that will all help you with what you're trying to achieve. So website content, through both the pages that you create that describe in detail what you do or the products that you have, not just a photograph and a product name, but what the product actually means and what it does, what you do for the service in a comprehensive way, and then the blog posts of information that your market is interested in. So those are really important. Okay. that's sort of a really quick basic run through of how SEO works. We're just laughing in the background. So yeah, there's probably a reasonable amount to sort of to go through there, but I'd like to open up for questions based on that, or any other questions that you have about that I might be able to help you with around SEO and around the whole thing of content marketing and digital marketing generally. So let's go. I'll start with Jason's first question. Okay, so how do you keep your SEO performing with all the changes Google has? That's a really good question. We have to be absolutely obsessive about what Google's doing, because we are managing a lot of clients whose businesses rely on very, even small incremental changes. So if Google makes a change that is going to be detrimental to any of our clients, we have to anticipate what that is and make changes before it happens. The good thing is Google doesn't spring surprises on you anymore. They used to a few years back with launching an algorithm update that's punitive without letting anyone know. Nowadays, they tend to telegraph these months in advance. Like when they moved to mobile, they talked about it for about 6 months before they actually shifted. So we always are able to anticipate that. The best thing for you to do to save having to pore over SEO blogs and to try and understand what some of these rocket scientists are talking about is to simply stick with the sound basic contents of a high quality brand that is creating content that helps your market and that your website helps your customers. That if you do those things, you'll never ever have a problem with a Google update. If you continue to consistently build what you've created, then you'll always be in the good books. And you'll find through the tools that you use, like if you use Google Analytics, there will be fluctuations. There'll be times when you will go up and go down. And if you see a consistent trend down, then you need to find out what that is and react, and you need to potentially get some help with that. If you are consistent or you're growing through your visitor results over a period of time, keep doing what you're doing and just stick to those core marketing concepts. Okay, Jason, thank you for that. Anyone else have a question? Got someone here. Okay, that's a good question too. Jared, while every page product on your website is important, should more time, effort be spent on the home page to make sure that is a mainstay at the top of search results? That's a good question. The home page these days is a mechanism to get people to where they need to be on your website. Now, as far as the user experience and so on goes, it doesn't matter if people only spend a very small time on your homepage. It used to be that if people stuck around and read your homepage for several minutes, then that was a good sign that you were giving value. Nowadays, a good homepage gives a range of options to people that will start with potentially what your brand message is. The next thing will be the key things that you do. It might be your featured products, or it might be your core services. And then you'll have something else below that. It could be some social proof like testimonials, or it could be your latest blog posts. It may be some resources that you have, or it might be a special if it's a product. So each homepage will be different, but what you want to do is you want to channel people effectively and efficiently to what they're looking for. And a lot of visitors are going to arrive at your site with different needs. Unless you're a business that has one product and one way of selling it, then obviously it's going to be all about that one product. But if you are able to use that homepage to answer those questions, to channel them to those pages, then of course those individual pages become really important. Now the homepage, as far as ranking and search goes, that's based on the performance of all of your website content, not just your homepage. So the value that you've created within service pages or product pages or team pages or any of this stuff all contributes to that. The homepage isn't a standalone thing that ranks in search by itself. It's a representation and an entry portal for your entire website. So I hope that helps with that, Jared. Okay, from David, is the homepage description really a 160 character elevator pitch? Yes, that's a good description of it. It is probably going to be the description that is most seen in search results. So you need to not only confirm what it is you do and what the, perhaps what the unique selling proposition is, but also have a call to action to get people to take the next step and come and visit your website. And it's a bit of an art form, so it's something that's worth working at for some period of time to get the right wording, so that you can have the most convincing statement that you can have within that. Jason again, if you're starting from nothing, what are the 3 easiest low-hanging fruit we should do right away? Okay, for that, and for people, again, there's 2 different groups. There's the ones who have websites and ones without. So with the ones without, the low-hanging fruit is to analyze what's ranking in your niche in local search results and take advantage of any opportunities for listings there. So that means you may have to pay to list in a couple of directories. The second thing is to set up a Google My Business page. The third low-hanging fruit is to be active on social media, to have a company presence on Facebook and LinkedIn at least, and potentially on Twitter or Instagram as well, depending on what type of business you run. For people with websites, Google My Business is still a hugely important one. Looking at the search results and optimizing your homepage for what you do would be the next couple of things that would be important things to do. But also to look at how your site's performing technically. So to look at things like how fast it's loading and how it's performing on mobile devices. Can we manage SEO keywords and meta descriptions ourselves? So is that something our website person controls? Okay, that's the first question. This is from Tammy. You should be able to create your own SEO titles and meta descriptions. The SEO keywords or tags sections on websites are ignored by Google, so there's really no point in focusing on those at all. So titles and descriptions are the big ones, and for most content management systems you should be able to do that yourself. You shouldn't need to go through a developer to do that. If you need to ask your developer where the access to those things are, then go ahead and do so. And just keep in mind those limitations with length, 160 characters, including spaces with descriptions, and 60 characters, including spaces for your titles. Make each title, use that space if you can, and make each title effective and describing what the page is about. Don't try to push any limits as far as using titles or descriptions to try and get into some sort of niche that the page doesn't describe the content for. Okay, the next one again from Tammy. How important is it to have blogs on our website? Very important. This is a key way to communicate with your potential customers and to build some personality around your brand as well. Website pages themselves can have a certain amount of friendliness and personality and so on, but with a blog you're going to develop an audience of people who will come back for your stuff, who will visit you from social media, and who will begin to identify and become advocates for your brand. So blogs are critical for every business. We work with some heavily industrialized companies, and they have blog strategies explaining what they do, and they publish a couple of times a month, fairly comprehensive posts, 1,000 words, explaining projects that they've worked on, clients that they've worked with, and so on. Some of them are very case study, and some of them about the materials that they use. All of this builds trust. It all adds good content to a website so that search engines can see that you're a contributor to the web in a really positive way, which will help you with ranking and search. And another one from Tammy. Will we get more visibility by adding events, new products, etc. in a blog format? Absolutely. Those are really good things to talk about. And with blog posts, there are several things that they can be quite visual. You can use images, you can use video, you can use, there's a certain structure that's quite helpful with it. Use subheadings in the content. Don't have big blocks of text content. You can use bullet points and so on, and graphs and whatever works for what you're writing about. And the other good thing is, if you're using a plugin, for instance, that has social share buttons, it makes it easy for people to share on their social media platforms. And as you publish your blog posts, of course, they should all be shared and promoted to your social media platforms as well. And they may involve, boosting on Facebook to a specific audience, and sharing through LinkedIn and Twitter, or having images through Instagram. And it's all part of a coordinated marketing strategy. And each one of those, if you're targeting something that people are interested in, has an opportunity to show up in search results. Yeah. While you're on blogs, is there an optimum word count? I'd say anything over 500 words is fine. The analysis that we've done shows that with our B2B clients, so these are ones who are in consulting services, businesses, and so on, their optimum blog word count is around 1,500 words. So these are quite substantial pieces, but these are businesses that are building a reputation for thought leadership, and so they have to be comprehensive in explaining their philosophies and their practices to a pretty tuned in market. For a small business that's communicating with an audience through social media, probably between 500 and 1,000 words would be fine. Anything under 300 words is going to be is not going to offer enough value for search engines to index it in any meaningful way. Okay, and that was from Scott. Okay. To answer that question, Jason, can you let us know how we can follow you? Maybe check your contact details up on COVID Facebook page. I'll do that. Yes, a few links that we can look at to see your magic. Thank you. All right. That obviously you can find us at highprofilenterprises.com, and that's my email address. Mike at highprofilenterprises.com. You'll also find me on Twitter at Meet Mike Morgan. You'll find me on LinkedIn. And we have a business page on Facebook, which is used for sharing our content. If you go to our blog on our website, you'll see that we share, as well as sort of periodic updates on what to expect in SEO in the next period of time, or on specific areas of what we do. You'll also find every month we publish a content highlights roundup, which is a roundup of some of the best content that's produced by ourselves or by our clients that we optimize and promote through the web. So those are the HPE content highlights posts, and if you have a look through those, you'll see what a whole lot of businesses and a lot of different niches are doing with their content, and how they're providing value that is helping them to rank in search engine results. And I mean, some of them are quite remarkable. There's a company in Australia called Anecdote, which is specializes in business storytelling. And Sean Callahan, who's the founder of that company, he's an internationally renowned expert in the strategy and storytelling and so on. And he wrote a post, it's probably a year and a half ago now, about Jeff Bezos's meeting procedures using a 6-page narrative to run business meetings so that they can be more effective and not waste a whole lot of corporate time. And that post is still getting between 3,000 and 4,000 visitors every month, mainly from the States. People are interested in that topic. Now that's a lot of those 3,000 or 4,000 people sure aren't going to be potential clients for a consultancy firm, like Anecdote. But as far as brand visibility goes, it's a pretty big driver of that. And out of that number of people, consistently every month, there are people within that are interested in the whole idea of using narratives and storytelling, which means that in a really soft sell way that will generate business for them through all of that traffic. I know there's another one that was done for a local business, which was about the lady on the rock, and that ranked. It was a comprehensive post about Whakatane and the lady on the rock, and that was generating well over 1,000 visits a month, because it was seemed to be the best piece of content out there about that particular topic. And so that, because they were a company that was in the real estate area for the local area, that was great, because there were people all over the country wanting to know about it. And again, that was brand visibility that was really important for them. Okay, any more questions for anyone? Looking good. Okay.
Hey, I just wanted to say thank you for your time, Mike. I hope my microphone's working okay. My internet isn't too patchy. It was really valuable from my point of view, and I've worked with you for the last few years now. If anybody wants to see some of Mike's magic, hopefully he'll post up some of the great links that he's been working on our COVID page, or just go have a look at our website, www.legacyaccountants.co.nz. Although he didn't build the website, all the SEO and all the words and the stories that are on there are all produced by Mike and Midge. I'm so glad, the noisy one in the background. I'm so glad that that's why she was laughing before I sent her a Facebook message saying she was noisy. But yeah, just jump in, have a look. These guys are amazing, and I just wanted to say thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jason. It's been a pleasure. I mean, this is a really important time and a great opportunity, I see, for people to really get an understanding of what happens in the online space and how valuable it can be to driving your business growth. So, yeah, if you have any further questions, my email address is there. And you can also sort of reach me. I'll put some some social media links and so on up on the business COVID page, and so you can always reach me through those social media platforms. Connect with me on LinkedIn if you want to. We share quite a bit of content about SEO and about content marketing through that platform and the others. So it's and the same with Meet Mike Morgan on Twitter. You'll find a constant stream of both our client stuff and also educational stuff about SEO and about content marketing and about social media. And just a final thought on all of this is find trusted sources of information on this stuff that relates to your level of understanding. Now there are a few big sites that regularly publish very helpful information, and we've got a list of quite a big list of ones that we follow regularly to keep up to date with what's going on with Google. But for the sort of more high-end sort of slightly rocket sciencey stuff, there's a site called moz.com that has a blog, and there are a few around that, like Search Engine Land, which is a SEO news site, or Search Engine Journal. Are worth doing. For more of a generalized marketing or content marketing approach, you can look at sites like HubSpot, look at their blog, like Copy Blogger is another one. Here's another one that's worth looking at that gives fairly. Content Marketing Institute is interesting. And who else do you go to, Mitch?
Copy Blogger.
Yep, Copy Blogger. So I'll put her on the spot now. It does, yes. It's quite interesting, even if you want to put in to search and say, you know, the top marketing blogs, and that'll bring up, you know, several sort of lists of the best 20 or the best 30 or the best 100 marketing blogs, and you can have a look at those and get information. Find 2 or 3 that that you can identify with and that are at your level of understanding, and make a point to go there at least every couple of days and see what they're talking about. And you know, we've had a commitment to self-education now for 15 years, and we haven't stopped. You know, we still spend you know, up to an hour, 2 hours a day just going through what's happening out there, understanding what the changes are, and keeping up with it. You don't have to go to that level, obviously, but it will help your business if you have some understanding of what's going on out there and what potential strategies are. What was the other one? Social Media Examiner. Was it Social Media Examiner?
Yeah,
because that has some good material as well. Social Media Examiner, if you're more in the social media side of things, is worth looking at as well. So yeah, thank you everyone. As Jason said, he's recorded today's presentation, and so we're going to upload that to Facebook and to YouTube, and we'll share that with you so you can come back to any of the points that I've covered here, yeah, we should be go. So good luck everyone. This is a really challenging time, and yeah, it's also an opportunity, you know, to really work on your business and to get everything set so that in the next few months, when we return to some sort of normal, you'll be poised to launch, you know, with a rocket. Yeah. Thanks, Jason, for the opportunity to talk today.
Yeah, thanks, mate. You have a good day. Thanks, everybody. Any questions, just give us an email.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. See you later.